Hello, and welcome to Foot the Bill, where we audit your favorite media. My name is Trey, and did you know back in the mid-90s, every high school was haunted? No, not by the specter of communism. They were haunted by Ghostface! Face de la Ghost. Definitely, probably one guy. This proto-emo took trivia night to a whole new level when he stabbed his way into our hearts. Unfortunately, he broke a few eggs while cooking all those teenage omelets. And I'm not talking about breakfast, I'm talking about property damage. That's right, in his pursuit of the perfect murder, Ghostface managed to leave a path of criminal destruction in his wake. From doors to floors, carpets to carports, Ghostface owes, but how much? And can he afford it? But first, the rules.
Don't you know the rules? What rules? You don't... Jesus Christ, you don't know the rules?
Let's treat this like a heist and split our calculations between supplies and damages. We'll be examining Ghostface's purchases, expenses, everything that accrued cost in the pursuit of Ghostfacey hijinks. That means we'll be tracking every knife, mask, cell phone, sandwich, you name it.
Dude, what's all that stuff you're grabbing?
Tools! Tools! Duct tape, zip ties, and gloves! I have to have my tools!
Next, we'll be accounting for what damages Ghostface caused throughout the film. You see, normally a crime scene cleanup is covered by insurance, at least to some extent, but I'm electing to ignore that. More fun that way. I spoke to several veteran crime scene cleaners from the 1990s to get as accurate figures as possible. This includes not just the trip charge and tech charge for hours needed to properly sanitize and clean an area, but also the cost of materials. Mops, towels, buckets, sponges, Tyvek suits, you name it. Any broken doors or windows or structural damage to drywall or flooring could involve an in-network contractor to repair or replace. In some cases, even tree removal or complete demolition becomes necessary. There's even a 10% markup if the job gets called in after hours. Again, normally this is covered by insurance, but here at Foot the Bill LLC, a subsidiary of the Kitten Arcader International Corporation, or CAKE, we know the risks associated with working with insurance. Finally, we'll take a look at the film and determine if there's any potential avenue for Ghosty to afford his shenanigans. This is Foot the Bill after all. He's gotta try to foot the bill. There's, what, 6 Scream movies and a show? We can't keep letting him get away with it! So, can Ghostface commit high school murders on a high school budget, keeping it clean and tight at the same time? Or does he blow his billowy pockets inside out by becoming a murderous humanoid typhoon? Let's find out. The movie opens like a first date at the movies. Popcorn and awkward small talk. Casey, that's Casey, is trying to enjoy a quiet night in with a scary movie. The voice,
What's your favorite scary movie?
that's voice, is busy seeing if she's a fake fan of the horror genre. Nice. Very classy. Things take a turn for the worse when the voice turns out to have a body, and that body has Casey's boyfriend, Steve, that's Steve, bound and gagged.
I wanna play a game.
Casey needs to play a game of Jeopardy to free her varsity boy toy, pitting her knowledge of horror against the horror of a killer. A trick question has Steve spilling his secret pasta sauce recipe all over the patio. Gross! And a broken French door scares Casey into the kitchen, burning popcorn filling the rooms with smoke. Casey slinks outside, but the voice now has a face. A ghost face. He busts out a window to reach her, but she whack-a-ghosts him back inside with the phone. A second window smash does the trick though, and he pounces Casey. While he's stabbing her to death, let's calculate the scene so far. We get a good first look at Ghostface Kit in this scene, that oh so iconic costume, and the infamous Buck 120C. Research reveals that the Ghostface mask predates the film by more than a few years, but what we see later in the film is a full mask and robe kit. Historical data suggests that a costume of this kind would retail for approximately $11.99 in 1996. The knife is easier to suss out. We already researched it for our foot the bill on Saw 2. I'll link that in the corner if you haven't seen it. And further research suggests a mid-90s retail price of approximately $57. For damages, Steve's secret sauce needs to be washed and wiped down. That cleanup will cost around $700. Those busted French doors will need to be cleaned up as well, boarded up, and replaced. Approximately $1,751 at the time. Smoke from the burning popcorn will need to be cleaned and possibly require repainting. Around $500 if you're lucky. 2 broken windows will have to be cleaned and replaced for $450 each. Finally, some families choose to have trees removed after they've been involved in a tragedy. A tree of that caliber would cost approximately $1,000 to remove in 1996, but I'm gonna say that Casey's parents opted to leave it behind. In my research of the house, turns out all the trees are accounted for. I mean, they should be accounted for, it's just a film, but regardless, I'm not charging for the tree. All in all, Casey's house cleanup would run approximately $3,851 in 1996. In the wake of Casey's death, we're introduced to our cantankerous cast of teenagers. That's teenagers speculating about who could be the killer. Sydney, that's Sydney, is particularly distressed. You see, it's coming up on the anniversary of her mom being horribly murdered and dumped in the town square. Trauma! Sid reflects on this later that night before getting woken up by a familiar voice asking some familiar questions.
Do you like scary movies, Sydney?
I like that thing you're doing with your voice, Randy. It's sexy.
What's your favorite scary movie?
The voice eventually pressures Sydney into picking her nose outside before bursting from the closet in the hall. Ghostface stabs her front door, but gets kicked in the ghost nads, and a chase ensues upstairs. Sid blocks Ghosty's bedroom pursuits, and he damages her bedroom door in the process. She subscribes to Kitten Arcader and emails a call to the police when Billy, that's Billy, jump scares her from the window. Sydney is comforted at first, but then she freaks out when she sees Billy's phone drop from his pocket. She sprints downstairs and gets jump scared again by Dewey, that's Dewey, holding up Ghostface. While Sydney gets Billy arrested and heads downtown to talk about it, we can quickly calculate the damage in the house. All in all, not a whole lot actually gets damaged at Sid's. Her front door gets stabbed here, and her bedroom door gets busted up here. As such, if we maximize value for both doors, it would run approximately $400. Get off pretty easy here. At the station, we get confirmation that the costumes are available at every Five and Dime for several miles, essentially making it the opposite of Richard Ramirez's shoes. No concrete evidence ties down Billy, particularly after Sid gets a phone call from Ghosty later that night. Thank God Dewey was there to scare him off.
Hello.
Back at school, Sydney gets jump scared by Ghostface in the hall before getting jump scared by Billy in the hall before getting jump scared by Ghostface. Jesus, high school is truly a layer of hell. We can also charge Ghosty for another costume to cover the one he left at Sid's house. Sydney is really shaken by this, and it's beginning to feel personal. Yeah, remember that mom of hers that got moited? Well, the suspected killer is facing death row due to Sydney's testimony, but not everyone is convinced, especially weather reporter Gail News reporter Gail Weathers, who's been hounding Sydney ever since. What's the forecast, Gail? Is it death? Yep, it's death. Principal Fonzie Himbry announces a curfew and ends the day early. Stu, that's Stu, announces he's throwing a murder party, and Sydney agrees to go. Back at school, Himbry gets jump scared by himself before getting jumped by Ghostface. For cleanup here, we've got a bloody carpet. We've got blood spatter on the desk. We find out later Himbry even gets strung up on the football post, so we've got our outdoor wipe and wash as well. Consulting my experts suggests $1,100 for the office and goalposts. Gross! Supposed to be like a goal thing. Anyway, Stu's killer house party is a rager, but that weather lady is trying to crash. Lame. Dewey invites her in. Lame. This woman needs friends. Tatum, that's Tatum, heads to the garage to re-beer the party. On her way out, she's jump scared by Ghostface? Who invited Ghostface to the party? Come on.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
Tatum tries to evac through the cat door, but to no avail. The garage door is haunted, and it eats her. While Tatum's hanging out, the party winds down enough for Billy to show up. No, not that Billy. That Billy. Billy and Sid make up and make out, that's making out, and the house empties while those two get busy. Outside, Doofy and Veronica Mars locate Sydney's dad's car. Post-coitus, Sydney is getting a little suspicious.
Who'd you call?
What?
Well,
I don't know, when you're arrested, you're allowed one phone call, so I was just curious. Who'd you call?
Right about the time that Ghostface shows up to draw blood. Suspicions alleviated. You're off the hook, Billy. Billy? Billy! Oh, bye, Billy. Sydney gets her parkour on and takes a shortcut downstairs, saying hi to Tatum on the way down. Hi, Tatum! Bye, Tatum. Back inside, Ghostface is about to end Randy, that's Randy, while Sydney takes refuge with Kenny, that's Kenny, in the news van. That bastard kills Kenny and Sydney escapes back to the house. Officer Dewey is Deweying his best to clear the house when Gail discovers her news van is now a crime scene. She beats Randy in the face with a phone, bye Randy, and proceeds to wreck the van, bye van. By the time Sydney gets back to the house, Dewey has been betrayed by a knife. A little ring around the police cruiser puts Sydney back inside Casa del Espectro, locking Randy and Stu outside. Billy decides he is going to prom and descends the stairs in elegance. Opening the door for Randy, who he then proceeds to shoot. Whoa, Stu comes in for the save, but instead whips out a voice changer. Oh my God, Ghostface was Stu and Billy? And they both killed Sydney's mom? And there's one more surprise for Sydney.
Yeah, you're gonna love this one. It's a scream, baby. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
Her dad! That's Dad. The two are planning to frame him for the murders, kill Sydney, and have each other survive. Severely injured. Very severely injured. Like really super severe. You can stop now, guys.
I'm feeling woozy here.
Unfortunately for them, Gail got a hold of the gun. Doubly unfortunate, they do not teach gun etiquette at news school. Triply unfortunate, Sydney is now AWOL and wants to play a game of her own. Billy hits Stu with the phone and goes John Hamm on the living room. That's a shame. Sydney shows Billy her best impersonation of the Penguin, but is attacked by Stu. She ends up smashing his head in with the TV, but I don't know, I think he might still be alive. One more attack from Billy is shut the heck down by Gail, who has figured out how guns work. A second shot from Sydney ensures Billy is definitely not showing up in any future movies.
Not in my movie.
And we close out the night with Gail reporting the weather or whatever it is she does. While everyone left alive contemplates therapy, let's break down this crime scene. Starting with Tatum in the garage, we've got a lot of broken glass and beer and blood to mop up, as well as that very broken garage door. All told though, $1,250. Not terrible. Upstairs in the bedroom is a not insignificant amount of corn syrup on the carpet, walls, lamps, bed sheets. Oof. The front hall is buggered. Wood, glass, blood, bullet holes. This is a mess. Between cleanup and contractors, you're looking at around $2,000. The kitchen has blood everywhere and has the unfortunate happenstance of having hardwood flooring. Hardwood in a kitchen, come on guys. Finally, in the living room is glass, blood, feathers, lots of feathers. That TV had on Stu's head, so many feathers. Outside is fairly clean. The porch will need to be wiped down most likely, and the driveway where the van was parked will probably require a wash. Speaking of Kenny in the news van, one could argue for the totaled value of the van being included in this bill, and that's me. I'm arguing. According to this 1995 Kelley Blue Book listing, and a couple of guys I ran into at the junkyard for no particular reason, that particular vehicle's value in 1996 would be approximately $14,000. If the equipment inside was also considered a loss, we can double that easily. Oof. Just don't tell the cops Gail was driving. All told, Stu's house ended up costing the Ghost Boys around $7,200. Knowing that Ghosty is two teens certainly changes our kit calculations, but there are some things to note. First, we only see one Ghostface costume in Stu's house, meaning we're still rocking the costume that was seen at school. But one could argue that each of them had a costume stashed away, given how Ghostface does seem to just zip-zop around the house as quickly as he does. And the height differential would suggest that each of them had their own costume, so we can update our charge for 3 outfits at $11.99 each. Could there be more? Sure. Am I including more? Not without good reason. Give me good reasons down below in the comments. Also, are you subscribed? Check and see if you're subscribed. Half of you aren't even subscribed. You should subscribe. Next, let's single out a few key items. Billy's cell phone is an AT&T Model 3850. This little bugger is hard to find info on, but I was able to look into contemporary models for comparative pricing. Specifically, I looked at an older Nokia Model 2010 and was able to estimate a price of $250 in 1996. That's not terrible. Now, the boys admit to cloning Sid Sid's dad's phone. How does one clone a cell phone in the mid-90s? Well, I'm not going to teach you that here. I mean, those methods don't even really work that well these days, and Captain Crunch doesn't even put the whistle you need in their cereal boxes anymore, and you need physical access to the phone, but I'll say that back in the 90s, if you wanted to clone a phone, you'd need a decent computer, some specialized software, something to scan the target phone, and a phone to become the clone. Hell, if they had an Oki 900, they could knock out all of these steps in basically one go, but given Billy's penchant for sneaking around Sid's house, I'd say getting access to her dad's cell phone wouldn't be impossible. We also see that Sydney has a PC, suggesting this is a fairly tech-forward town. Couple the fact that everyone in this town seems to live in $1 million home, and yeah, I could see it. Cloning a phone would cost total around $800. Finally, the most important part of this whole mess, the voice changer. For a long time, the prop community thought the voice changer was a variant of a pre-existing model or that it was developed specifically for the movie Scream, but recently, a YouTuber going by Drowned Boy Productions discovered an actual contemporary voice changer exactly like the one depicted in the film. I'll link his video for more. Now, while such a device existed in our 1996 world, it did not give our voices the acting talent of Roger Jackson. It garbled cheaply, it garbled poorly. I hypothesized that while one ghost was on the phone, the other was doing sneaky shit. And since we only see the one voice changer in the kitchen, we'll charge for the one and the only one. All told, it cost around $15. So, how did Ghostface do? With 2 killers and 1 trail of destruction, how do the accounts balance? And can Ghostface foot the bill? All told, Ghosty spent $1,157.97 on supplies. That's approximately $2,314.08 in 2024. Reasonable, affordable, well within range of an affluent high schooler or two. Damages are another story. From Casey's house to Stu's house, the Ghost Bros accumulated around $48,426 in damages. That's roughly $96,774.22 in 2024. That's not too shabby. It's a shame the house they wrecked the most was Stu's. For fun, we can calculate how much value was lost in the house for being the site of a horrific quadruple homicide. Now, we can't get super specific prices on Stu's home in the 90s, but some estimates floating around suggest it might have run in the neighborhood of, let's say, $1.5 million. But how much value was lost? Well, this is kind of neat. A 2016 CNN report spoke to Randall Bell, a real estate broker who specializes in real estate damage valuation. Mr. Bell suggested that a home that was the site of a horrific unnatural death could see a valuation drop of 10 to 25%. Not great. It's canon that Stu's parents sell their home, and the state of California requires any property that is the site of an unnatural death to be disclosed to potential buyers. So our $1.5 million home might have been cut down by $150,000 to $375,000. Way to go, Stu.
My mom and dad are gonna be so mad.
Of course, only Randy is ever seen being employed, but knowing those two, they just beg Stu's parents for cash. But what do you think? Do you think they had jobs? Do you think Stu strikes you as the type to be employed? I mean, Billy maybe, but I don't know who's paying for his extracurriculars. His dad looks like truck stop Paul McCartney, so all told, with a return on investment of 4,081.97%, Ghostface is quite the lucrative killer. We can take that number forward when we compare future slashers, but in the meantime, there you have it. Scream! Next time on Foot the Bill, Jigsaw! Oh boy! Oh, what a mess that's already turning into. Seriously, wow! Frickin' lasers, man, come on! We'll be prepping a new Level With Me for Maximus from Fallout, and we have plans in the works to cover Cyberpunk, The Witcher, and so much more. We'll also be launching a new schedule for videos, or as I call it, Foot the Bill Fridays and Level With Me Mondays. Basically, Foot the Bill videos will launch on Fridays from here on out, and Level With Me videos will come out on Mondays. This doesn't necessarily mean that there will be a video every Monday or Friday, but rather that's just when the video is complete, it'll be released on its respective day. Just, keeps it nice and tight. We've got streams coming up soon as well. As always, a huge special shout out to Patreon and YouTube members. You guys make it so we can run these new series on the channel channel and gives us a little bit of breathing room to experiment. If you feel like supporting, please check out those options. But remember that just watching and sharing does so much for us. We are a two-person operation, and every single view helps. So share it with your family, share it with your friends, share it to your favorite Discord that you don't want your mom to ever know about. And remember, I'm here to make stuff if you're here to watch. Thanks.